All right, amazing. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, assalamu alaikum, according to the place where you're logging from. Today is going to be a very exciting event hosted by the Premier FinTech LLC. The event is going to talk mostly about scientific advice our speakers are logging from different parts of the world today, and very interesting. Let me take you through who our speakers are. So we do have 8 set of speakers. We'll be talking to you about who these speakers are. So the first person is His Excellency Farhan Al Sheikh Al Sayed. He is the president of Qatar Indonesia Business. He is also the president of Walking Football Federation, Asia and Qatar, president of Business Group Qatar. Welcome, Farhan Al Sheikh Al Sayed. And we do have Ayman Al Qudwa, General Manager, Falcon Travels, Launch Director, Consultant for BNI Qatar as well. Welcome, Ayman Al Qudwa. We do have Ahmed Isa, who is the co-founder of Dipsy Qatar, and he's joining us from Qatar itself. Welcome, Ahmed.
Hey, how are you doing? Thank you very much.
Awesome. And we also have a speaker who's joining us from Qatar is Anish Niunaha. I hope I pronounced your name right, Anish.
Yes, that's right.
And he's the amazing senior financial advisor, Nexus Financial Services Qatar.
Thank you so much.
We also have a speaker who is joining from Poland in this event. He's Lukas Maliki, Chief Executive Officer for Dogmatic. Welcome, Lukas.
Welcome.
We have Yasmin Mylene, Merger and Acquisition Analyst, Venue Advisor, Advisory, and joining all the way from France. Welcome, Yasmin.
Thank you very much for your invitation.
Amazing. We also have Onaiza Azim. She's an artist. She is connected with Assorted Palette. She's joining us from India.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Amazing. Now that's going to be the panel of speakers who is with us. There was a panel. There was a speaker who was supposed to join us, but unfortunately there was a few unfortunate incidents which she has to go through, and she had to move out from the event. Anyways, having said that, introducing the panel, I would also like to introduce a very key person in today's event. That is Intikhab Rauf. He is the host for the event today. Thank you for putting up this event together and bringing all these wonderful people into this session. So Intikhab is the CEO of Premier FinTech. He's also the co-founder of X Holidays, correspondent for Earth Lanka News accredited by Qatar News Agency. He's also the president of My Climate Action Qatar, also a delegate to the UN Climate Change and the Economic and the Social Council. Thank you, Intikhab, for putting this event together and also inviting me for this event. And for a keynote, let me hand it over to Intikhab. Over to you.
You're muted.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Zaruk, for this brilliant introduction. Let me start by saying, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Good day to everyone. It's my privilege to welcome this distinguished panel of speakers who have joined virtually from Qatar, France, Poland, India, and Kazakhstan, and also the moderator and the audience in this webinar, Sustainable Development Goals in Entrepreneurship. This event is to recognize and to observe the Qatar Sustainability Week 2022. which is a national campaign to promote the nation's sustainability vision and to achieve the nation's sustainable development goals. The aim of National Vision 2030, Qatar National Vision, is to transform Qatar into an advanced society capable of achieving sustainable development by 2030. Looking back at the history, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015. And there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are an urgent call for action by all countries. They recognize that ending poverty must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, all while tackling climate change. With saying that, Mohammed Zaruk, I'm leaving the panel over to you.
Thank you, Intikab, for giving us that intro, and let's kick off the session. Before I do that, let me just take a minute of what Intikab just spoke about and the kind of responsibilities around businesses in Doha itself when we talk about the Vision 2030. Now, giving the title which we have today is Sustainable Entrepreneurship and the development goals which we could set for that. Now, if you ask a question as why and what is, it's more like a business strategy focused on increasing value for society and the environment and the company of the business is. Now, what we are really interested in knowing is how we do that. And we have the expert panel today with us to give this answer to us. So having said that, let me invite the first speaker for today. So our first speaker will be Farhan Al-Sheikh Al-Sayed. Over to you.
Assalamu alaikum, greetings and hello to all the people who are connecting with us today. It's such a beautiful webinar and webcast, so-called. It's so advanced in the world. We have a webcast now, and people could reach out with different means. And I thank the organizers, my dear friends who have joined us as well, for joining us no matter where you are, to unite. The whole also sustainability comes by uniting as well. So it's very important factor is how to unite and to sustain. It's not just sustainability programs in Qatar, also around the world. This is why we are all here, so that we can talk about, you know, the basic principles are economy, society, and environment for sustainability. These are the three factors we have to go hand in hand to take care of the economy, take care of your society and the environment to create a sustainability. And Qatar has got two cities, very well advanced. I would call it smart as well as sustainable cities, which are Lusail City and Musharraf downtown. And you can, if you come to visit or you live in Doha, you can visit, you can feel it. As soon as you land there, you can feel the difference and how well planned they are. And basically the combination is it combines friendly technologies and, you know, to also for helps the development of urban planning. It's very important. Also my role, not just as a business person, but also my involvement in sports, which I feel is very important. And that's what Qatar is playing a role. We're having hundreds of international sporting events we are hosting in the country. Again, sports creates the awareness of how you take care of yourself, your well-being, and take care of the nature, the environment, and all combination, healthy lifestyle for a start. I think there are only few countries in the world who has a national sports day. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you ask yourself, so Qatar has a national sports day, thanks to His Highness the Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, his directions that we have a sports day. We are lucky to have a leadership of His Highness who is a lover of sports. If not, this would not happen. This was not achievable. Also, His Highness the Emir, who gets the credit. And at the same time, development of women along with the development of sustainability is very important role women play in the sustainability. So we have a lady on the panel, so I'm sure I see a smile from her. It's how important role ladies play in the development, and this is how we have the education system. Again, education is very important. We have Qatar Foundation, this education city. A backbone of this education city is Her Highness Sheikh Moza herself, who has a vision to develop women, and not only in Qatar, all around the world, educating children around the world programs. So education in how to have sustainability is very important. Going back to my background of right now, I'm leading the movement of walking football in the world, and not only just in Qatar, is to people give up sports. Sports is very important part of our system. Healthy lifestyle is connected. It will help take away the burden of which all around the world, the health services are struggling. So again, the sustainability is very important in order for us to stay healthy, in order to support the health services by staying healthy. Because as we have gone through pandemic and all these other issues, it's very important on how we take care of ourselves by staying active. And hopefully this weekend, we were planning to have Observe Sustainability Week in walking football session. And I hope if you're in Doha, you'll be welcome to join us, and Brother Intaqab could lead you to where we will be. And thank you, Brother Intaqab, for inviting me and giving an option. As talking, going back to sports is very important, that to encourage the future children and adults to take up at least walking. You know, preserving water, because Qatar is a desert country and water is very precious. We have plenty of water, uninterrupted supply of water. That doesn't mean we abuse it. So I think it's very important thing in this week we have to know is avoid water like electricity. All the different things, so that recycling is a very important part. Working on how we could create a better recycling programs in Qatar, which is again important because health is connected with how you take care of garbage.
Sure.
It's very important, so to have a good sustainability. And I think we have enough speakers. I would love to hear them. This is my talk for today, and thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you so much, Farhan Al-Sheikh. So there were very important points you have spoken. I really like the aspects which you have brought down in terms of unity, because that's one of those forefronts which you're doing in terms of sports, right? And then sports brings awareness. I totally agree with this. And one more important point we actually heard from you is that women empowerment, how inclusive women needs to be in terms of, bringing this sustainability. Very nice insights. Thank you so much, Farhan. Having said that, let me move on to the next speaker. Let me invite him to speak a few words to us on his thoughts. The next speaker is Ayman Al-Qudwa. Over to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It is a great pleasure to be with you today to speak about a very important topic for people in Qatar, for people in the world, as we all share the same planet, the gift from God. Sustainability is our life. Sustainability is our future. For that reason, today, a lot of countries like Qatar, they made the sustainability one of the pillars of their national vision. His Highness, the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim, he is the first person in Qatar who gave attention for sustainability. It's started from the head of the pyramids to the normal people of Qatar, to the local of Qatar, to the residents of Qatar. Without sustainability in all industry, even including my industry, travel and tourism, which is today, travel and tourism are one of the major players in the global economy. It is not about, we are in travel industry, about selling seat in a flight or room in a hotel. Moreover, it's allowing us to explore different parts of the world, like what's happening today in this remarkable webinar in the Sustainability Week in Qatar 2022. We have people, we have gentlemen, we have ladies who are sharing the same concern about the sustainability. I don't want to take too much, but I totally agree with Mr. Farhan, and I totally agree with the members of this webinar that sustainability is very important because it is our future, it's our existence, and we have to come together to have one global definition, and based on that, in each industry, we can collaborate to achieve our ideal and common goal. Back to you, Mr. Zarouk, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ayman. I think it was really important thought to share that each industry has different aspects of how responsible we can be in terms of this whole sustainable development goals. Given that it's also something which is flowing from our leaders to the down to the frontliners also, right? And more often the responsibility lies on the key members in the society, and entrepreneurs are key members in the society who shapes this society as well. I think that was a very important message from you, Mr. Ayman. Thank you so much. And next speaker lined up for us today is Ahmed Isa. Ahmed, over to you.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm Ahmed Isa from Dipsy. We are a payments company. So basically what we do is we help businesses accept online payments, anywhere from credit card to debit card, and mobile wallets such as Apple Pay and Google Pay. So just referring back to sustainability, I think in our industry, in fintech and payments, I do see that we are moving towards that, and actually in Qatar market. I see that the growth in first moving to 2030 vision, bringing fintechs locally to actually accelerate the technology and digitalize and move to cashless society. And that's a part of the sustainability goal for the country. Seeing that few months ago that we have reduced cash of payments of 50,000 riyals and reduced it so that the people don't pay anything more than 50,000 in cash. So it's a great thing. We're moving towards that. And hopefully we will see next 4 to 5 years in our market a cashless society. And the goal for sustainability is to reduce plastic cards, reduce receipts, so we can move more into a digital world. And we can see that impact progressing every month and every year. And Qatar is in the right place and it's on the right time. And the great news is that the Central Bank of Qatar have moved forward and enhanced the fintech to actually innovate in the market and get to that level where to see to the vision of 2030. Thank you very much.
Amazing. This is a very interesting topic, in fact, when we talk about how, in the fintech can transform the traditional way of transactions from having cash and notes and cards to cashless and a digital format. And I think it directly influences the way sustainability works. Just giving a thought, like the use of plastic cards, and the production of it all contributes to the carbon footprint. And when you bring that out of the equation, it actually promotes a safer environment. Yeah. So I think that's a very important subject you spoke to us about, Ahmed. Thank you so much. The next speaker we have with us in the panel today is Anish Newnaha. Over to you, Anish.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for such a wonderful moderation of today's panel. I would like to share my gratitude with Mr. Intikhab. Thank you for inviting me for today's panel to speak with such wonderful speakers on a topic which is one of the most important topics, I believe, in 2022. I believe Qatar, and not just Qatar, internationally, we are on the cusp of a very important period where we are now focusing on climate change. We're talking about how the environment has been affected by the ways in which businesses have operated on a single agenda, which is growth at all costs. Over the last 10 years, since about 2010, we have seen a slight migration in the world of finance. Capitalism, as we know, is always about correct allocation of capital to the right source of utilization. Over the last 5 years, since 2018, for the information of all our panelists and audiences joining us from all across the world of ESG investing, which is environmental, social, and governance based investing, has reached to roughly $37 trillion. That means individuals, investors across the world are now sensitive towards how companies are actually creating an impact on the economy. We're talking about a generation that is now believing from the point of view of acting as a custodian and not an owner of earth. As Mr. Ayman Al Qudwa rightly said, we are basically borrowing this planet from the future generations. That is what I take away from today's meaning. When we talk about sustainability and entrepreneurship, it is extremely important for us to understand that resources on this particular planet are scarce. It is not an infinite supply for any company to misutilize. And today, from the financial industry's point of view, there is a movement towards supporting companies that are responsible towards their environment and that are also ensuring that there is no misutilization of all the available resources, may it be in the form of decreasing emissions. We're talking about green global warming that is caused due to greenhouse emissions. Today, rightly said, companies are competing with each other in parameters that are going to act as more environmentally friendly for them. We're seeing a time where money is now moving towards companies that are not just performing well for their shareholders, but they're also performing well for the overall stakeholders of community. I believe that finance, as per se, is divided in between the way companies that are asking for capital and investors, such as perhaps ourselves, and not just ourselves, but the general public at large, is now looking at companies that are actually creating an impact. So there has been a subset in this entire world of finance where companies that are more socially responsible are actually forming a new division in the world of entrepreneurship. How can entrepreneurs benefit from sustainability? That is something that I would like to address. In the world of entrepreneurship in today's time, you can develop a solution that is probably the same kind of a procedure that is out there, but make it a little bit more efficient. I have come across brands such as in the mineral water industry that are now shedding the use of single use plastic and moving to aluminum bottles that are 100% recyclable. We're talking about hydroponic agriculture that is basically based on water to ensure that there is no maximum utilization of soil and decreasing the use on the water table. We're talking about companies that are entering into reuse mechanisms where I would give a simple example would be Starbucks. We all know Starbucks for what it is today, but they are trying to come up with efficient farming techniques for people who are partners to all across the world, such that coffee, which is a huge consumer of water table, is now being grown in an efficient way. To make it simpler, what I believe entrepreneurs over the entire world have to come together to visions that are aligned towards the future generations of this particular planet. We need to come up with solutions that are more driven to a larger set of stakeholders and not just our shareholders. It is a mentality that we need to have, that we need to protect this planet and conserve it, because this is the best gift that we have been bestowed with. At the end of the day, as part of Qatar's mission for sustainability and this wonderful event that we're doing, it's also about educating the population at large. Choose the certain kind of product or services by companies that are being responsible. Because if you make a change as an individual, you will be able to create a movement. Because we always know a journey of 10,000 miles starts with a single step. And we, as every single individual, need to be responsible towards a sustainable future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anish. Wow, I think that was really good in terms of those pointers which you have spoken about. It actually gives a deep sense of how we could be really responsible in giving back to the society and also to the environment. Yeah, words like we are borrowing the world from our future is something really deep, which brings people to think and have their own perceptions and positive perceptions, and positively influence their thoughts as well. During your speech, what I heard is something which we can give back to the society and also to the environment. And also one key word I really liked about is educating the population as entrepreneurs. I think that becomes a huge responsibility on people who could educate, because this message very rarely moves from a set of very closed circle. So I think that becomes a major takeaway from this discussion as well. Amazing. I think I'm loving what I'm hearing. Having said that, we have our next speaker lined up for us. He is
I think the network. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So hi, my name, it's my turn, right?
I don't know because I hardly speak.
Yes, the network is quite fragile, so I don't know.
So please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Yasmin. I'm from France.
No problem. We can
Sorry.
go with you.
Okay, sorry. Feel free to say anything.
No, I can head.
No, okay, okay. So as I told you, I'm a M&A energy analyst. I work a lot in Africa, and in order to, I would like to say that Sheikh Farhan said that you have a National Sport Day, and it's quite important because I do work a lot with local communities there in order to rethink a much more healthy way of living, which will meet the Sustainable Development Goals. So by my different missions that I can have in the energy sector, I do involve a lot local communities by some trainings, team buildings, and brainstormings in order for them to have to gain in a certain, I would say, a better a level of way of living. This is quite important for my company. Also, I would also, sorry, take a take.
Mr. Intiqab?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Right. I think there was a small technical difficulty out here, and I couldn't hear Yasmin after a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is let's move to the next speaker, and then when she comes back, we'll be able to give that opportunity to her. So can I invite Lucas Maliki as our next speaker, please?
Welcome. Thank you very much for the invitation. That's pleasure to be here with you. You mentioned about extremely important things. You touched very important topic. So I don't want to repeat some of your observation. I would like to tell you some story about sustainability from the startup perspective, because I represent my startup, and first of all, my observation is that that startups should be leaders in terms of sustainability. First of all, because startups are agile, because they can make mistakes, because they invest money, because there are many innovative people that want to try many solutions that could be later repeat or copy by large enterprises. We have one business angel on the board, and what I'm really grateful, he's a person who really take care of the sustainability, and we look, thanks to him, we look at our business and the problem we solve from the absolutely different perspective. At Dogmatic, from the business perspective, we analyze documents. We train our own machine learning models to understand the context of legal documents and help big companies to analyze legal documents much faster to find some abusive clauses, dangerous clauses, etc. But there is only business. But what we want to do and what we do together with our business angel, we are focused on two main goals. There is we want to reduce inequalities and improve the quality of education. Let's imagine the scenario: you are going abroad, you are going somewhere you have never been, you don't speak the foreign language, and you need to sign the contract because you are going to rent a car, rent a flat, etc. What we want to do, we want to decrease, we want to help the society to analyze the document, even if you are not a lawyer, even if you don't speak the foreign language, by suggestion that some phrases in the document, in the contract, could be harmful, could be dangerous. So thanks to the high tech and the technology we have, like translators, like machine learning models, we are able to deliver this kind of solution to everyone. So I think we cannot imagine how to behave if you have some accident or some quarrel with the lawyers in a foreign country, because we are a small fish in this huge ocean when we are attacked by by very good lawyers. So there is only the one example how we want to be a part of this process of creating new and better future #sustainability. So my observation is, and I would like to, and what I really like what Anish said, that even the investors take care of the companies that take care of the sustainability, and that's super important, because I think that there is a great connection between people who can invest in startups and they take care of the environment, on society, education, water, and startups that are super innovative. They have a lot of energy, a lot of motivation. And I think that the sustainability is beginning there where startups are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucas. I think it was nice to listen to from a very different industry and, a business which tackles a very different kind of a set of customers and, needs as well, isn't it? Very interesting to hear from you. Thank you so much. And let me go to our next speaker. Our next speaker lined up is Onaiza. Over to you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Zarok. And I am delighted to be here speaking on a panel where have a different mindset and viewpoint of every aspect of their businesses. So mine is very small as a startup, as an artist in a developing country in India. Been doing art since 2016, having a bump road of a pandemic and having a mindset of a sustainable development over how I work with my clientele in sales. It was a very big, it has been competitive with me in India specifically, where poverty and job opportunities take a major role. So artists like me, a radical artist like me, had to compete between, there was a tug of war between a capitalist-minded artist who mass produces and copies a radical artist like me. So there was a tug of war, and there has been a tug of war since the beginning. And I'm sorry, just a minute, I just blocked myself out. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Onaiza, go ahead.
Yeah. So that was one major setback as an artist, as an entrepreneur in India. And I'm sure in Qatar, I've been to Qatar like 15 days back. That's where I met Mr. Intikhab. And it has been a wonderful experience over there, displaying my artwork. It was amazing experience. I just hope I could get back again there soon. Coming back to sustainable development, it was all around. I could see, as His Excellency Mr. Farooq has said, Lusail city was amazing at every step of the way. Now, coming down to a developing country, it was a whole lot different aspect over here. We, as a local community, we strive for minimalizing waste and try to, what you can say is, develop a conscious effort, towards sustainable development. We design new ways and for living and using art that aren't focused for mass production or capital gains. We actually do, make a meaningful impact on personal level. That's what us as a radical artist strive about. So coming down to how I, as an entrepreneur in my field, assorted palette that I am in, we actually have a few rules and goals that we go about. using sustainable materials like cotton, hemp, bamboo for canvases, and having recycled wood for making canvas structures. So those are the few things that we, there's a baby steps, they are. So that is what we strive for. We also use chlorine-free papers for official works and all. So these are the few things, or we have these goals that we swear by. And I personally, as a trained watercolor artist since 6 years now, have been making my own watercolors. We make watercolors by earth pigments, and we derive them from rocks, we derive them from dried flowers. We make them with a binder called raw honey and gum arabic. I'm sure most of you must have known. So these are the few ancient practices that have been going on since the start of the civilization. So that is what I keep in mind to carry on forward. So these are how I use ways to sustain the development in my area or in this society. But then what I could feel like is we cannot have local sustainability until we have a global sustainability, and that is because we need to create a demand for it. As one as Mr. Avinash, if I'm not wrong, I might have named him. As one of the speakers have told, that there have been a change in today's market. They have been change in the ways that companies have been using sustainable approaches. But then, let alone those companies, we cannot. It cannot be changed with these until we have a demand for it. Until we have a very radical approach towards it, then can be able to approach sustainable development. So that is my point as an artist. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Mr. Intikhab and Mr. Zarouk. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Onaida. I think that was really something which can bring, and it's a food for thought. If you ask me, yes, local sustainability and versus international sustainability, and bringing a demand to that is something which entrepreneurs can do. And also that brings me into a question. Now, this question comes from the viewers, and part of it is from me as well. Just wanted to ask the panel, like, while companies are focused on making profits, and that would continue to be their top priority most of the time, can there not be an independent institution that reviews a company's operation and suggest alternative sustainable options? Do we have an institution that offer this kind of a service, or are we regulated by any of those departments or the government bodies which does this?
Yeah, we do have it in India. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
just butt in.
No
We do
problem.
have it
Please.
because I am registered under Indian Government Act. So we had to go through sets of screenings and stuff like that. So there's a body where they screen test, and they come down on your they come down and just check how everything is being managed and all. But then again, as I said, as a developing country over here, that takes a step back, because the other more important things come forward. I'm sure the other countries like Qatar and all, they are taking an active part of it. I'm sure about that. I would love to experience that one day.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I would like to pose the same question to Farhan, if possible, please. Farhan, if you would like to give us a little bit of, or shed a little bit of light on this. Sorry, you're on mute at the moment.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Right, absolutely.
First of all, I'm really thankful that you've come up, the organizers, and have come up with an idea of today's event. I would call it an event because I'm sitting with all of you together. You know, it's a privilege for me. And I'm very glad we are doing this together because this is what is needed. We need to share the knowledge we possess. I come from a different background, and different ideas, and different concepts I involved in my life, which I am happy to share. Likewise, I'd like to hear from my colleagues here on the webinar today, your ideas, so that I finish this webinar today and learn something from you. So we need to have regular, similar webinars and teaching people and sharing our knowledge in entrepreneurship in regards to sustainability. Like I mentioned earlier, the basic rules or principles are economy and society and environment. This is very important to try knowledge. You know, this have to work together. And not just becoming a businessman, an entrepreneur, you call yourself an entrepreneur, has to have certain basic knowledge of what I mentioned about economy, society, and the environment in order to have a sustainability growth, not only in their business, also in their society, in the countries, and uniting together in the sense of we need to share knowledge, and then you practice in your countries to see foreseeable future and growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Farhan. Thank you so much for adding that. And, I totally believe that these kind of events, seminars, webcasts actually do that job of, passing through that information, number one, educating, number two, and also proactively engaging people to think likewise. Yeah. So I think it's very important, like you said. And I have one more question. Probably I'll post this question to Anish because he in his talk, he has spoken to us about a little bit more of the industries and how we come together and the awareness and so on. So the question here is, could be something like, spot on, but can we name like top at least two industries that are like really into harming the environment, and can we apply pressure on these companies? What can we do? What are your thoughts? If we are looking at it in that way, what can we do about it?
Thank you so much for putting across that question, and I think this is going to be a no-brainer. The first and biggest industry that is currently going to help us move towards a sustainable future is the automobiles industry. We are looking at a transition where we were running on cars and vehicles that were driven by gasoline, that were driven by diesel, that were driven by all these non-renewable sources of energy. That was a big contributor towards the population, towards the entire international planet. We have seen carbon emissions coming from these vehicles increasing because of affordability. As human beings move towards higher income brackets, we were transitioning towards more adoption of railroads, or it could be public transportation, or it could be personal vehicles. I believe the electric car revolution is going to change things in the favor of mankind. So the first and biggest theme, as we all know, that's the reason why now going back to entrepreneurship and why I want to make a point is, if you look at Tesla, the monumental growth that Tesla has had in the last 3 years, even though it is not the largest automobile company, is because of expectation of it will be a large player in the future. And in expectation that electric vehicles will become the mainstream because of human beings' perception towards cleaner sources of energy. So the first and biggest thing I believe is going to be for sure automobiles industry, with electric vehicles being the core focus. And the second important industry that I believe is plastic. I believe that plastic has to be either biodegradable or reusable or completely eradicated from the system. Most importantly, single-use plastic. Single-use plastic has to be removed from most of the industrial utilizations. And this is going to start with the retail sector. If you see in today's scenario, the way the retail sector is still utilizing extremely high amounts of plastic, which is used in packaging, that is used in takeaway bags, or any other form of takeaway goods that they are giving, that has to be moved towards something that is more organic, something that is more biodegradable, something that's more safer for the entire economy. So like that, every industry has its own way of coming ahead with its focus. But most important thing is reduce the use of non-sustainable elements of nature. So move towards sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, Anish. Thank you so much. And you named those top two industries, which actually can bring a lot of change if we can control or change or convert into certain things with the options of being sustainable. Yeah. Yes, I mean, you have a question or you wanted to answer the same question?
I have a comment. If I can share it, please.
Absolutely, please.
I think one of the important outcome of this webinar for each industry, not only in travel and tourism, we have to differentiate between two things, okay? The eco environment and the sustainable environment. Like, for example, in my industry, when it comes to travel and tourism, when we talk about eco-tourism and sustainable tourism, which being used interchangeably, although both are very important, there are a slight difference between what each one mean. For example, sustainable tourism is about creating travel opportunities with minimum impact and positive benefits for the destinations and for the community who is working on the travel and tourism industry. Ecotourism is more focused in educating, as a lot of the panelists, they agreed on this, especially Mr. Anish and our guest from Poland. Educating is very important in our industry. Yes, we need to educate about the tourist and about the nature and the environment. And of course, the traveler, which can take part in conservation, the culture and the activity, and protect the economy. So this is my humble feedback, and thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Zarouk.
Thank you so much, Ayman. I think that clarification towards these two segments was really important. And, that's also a process of educating and the differences on how we are trying to handle this. I also believe that, maybe this I can pose as a question to everyone out here, is how can companies engage and encourage their employees to initiate these sustainable activities? And should we start rewarding those who do so? Do we need to have, so that's where my first questions get connected to, do we need to have independent institution which looks into these kind of organizations and rewards them as well in a bigger picture? I think that will connect to one more thing which Onaizo spoke about, creating the demand to have that entrepreneurs to be sustainable and have those goals. So I think Ayman wants to answer this question as well. Over to you, Ayman.
Yes, because one question raised in my head, okay, when entrepreneur started, is it after graduating from college or before graduating from college? In my humble opinion, I think, okay, these questions, important question, has been thrown by you, sir. It should be educated from KG1. We want to bring generation who believe from their deep that the importance of sustainability in their life, in their profession, in their industry. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Makes real good sense. And when you said that, that strikes me like, now how school syllabuses actually talks about Environment Day, how also talks about certain materials which you can recycle. And it also tells them that these are certain things which you could do in order to ensure. And I think that is a smaller part of, it contributes majorly in terms of sustainability itself. Amazing. I think today's event has been really fruitful in terms of the discussions we've been having, and also the ideas and the perceptions and the perspectives we are bringing into this call itself. Amazing. But I would like to continue this discussion throughout, but we do run on a time. So with having said that, I would say I would thank everyone who had spoken today. and I really enjoyed, what I heard and all your different ideas. And the beauty is it's so diverse. The industries here is also diverse. It's not only the countries and where we come from and how we operate. It's also the industries you're working for and you have come across. So that's a beautiful thing which we can always do. Just like Farhan spoke about, he said that we need to do these things often, which actually enables and brings forth that information to everyone, to the larger society itself. With that note, let me come to a conclusion. Let me hand it over to Intikab for closing remarks. Over to you, Intikab.
It's a really nice discussion, nice conversation, and it was very interesting. We truly appreciate everyone for the willingness and the commitment to give your time, which is very precious, especially in Qatar. It was a holiday, and we've seen everyone participated in this webinar, and for all the others who connected from other countries. And this commitment is very important to give your time and valuable insight. It was interesting and informative. I would like to say thank you for taking the time to speak on today's webinar. And once again, thank you very much and have a lovely day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you very
good
much.
day. Bye-bye.